Good morning, all. Good morning, all. This is my spice garden. Everything took to the transplant just fine. My thyme is doing well. My parsley is looking a little awkward, but it'll come back. And my chives are doing well, and the oregano is doing well. Just thought I'd try and take my photos with my regular camera today and do a walk around. This is my construction area out here. But I did put in some new plants this week. Hence the watering can for a little extra water. I got some beautiful anemones in. And those will come back every year. There's my grape hyacinth. I still have not separated them. I'm going to separate them pretty soon, and that way they'll come back in different spots next year, or in multiple spots. This is one of the wallflowers that Chandra got yesterday. And that's doing well. It wilted down overnight, or it wilted down when I first put it in, and then overnight it's come back just as crisp as anything. And that has very pretty little purple flowers. And these are a form of camas. Camas lyda something or other. And these will have nice purple flowers to them, and I've got 2 of them in there. And going up the pathway here, I've got some of my ground cover coming in. I've got my miniature rhodie here. Haven't planted anything in my little girl here yet. But as you can see, going up this side of the path, that is my gorgeous white hellebore. And it is gorgeous and huge. They seem to like all the rain that we get over the winter season. Man, because that is just huge with flowers. And stepping back a little bit, I've got my variegated Japanese Pyrrhus. And my rhododendron. This is a pink one. That'll be coming along pretty soon. My phlox will be huge. That'll get to be about 4 feet. And my viburnums are blooming. They're just white, but they offer the first early spring flowers for the birds and the bees. And coming over to my little pathway, I've got more grape hyacinths that I planted. I've got pinks in here, which will be nice during the summertime. And in this area, I've got my viburnum in the back behind my girl. And that always looks pretty. And in front of her, I have a lily, and I've got another anemone. Down there, there's some lupin coming up. There's my hollyhocks right there. And those will be a red hollyhock. And down at the end of the path there, you can see my, it's actually an azalea, but it really looks like a pink PGM rhodie. But it's not. And there's a bumblebee on it. Go down here and check him out. Where are you, Mr. Bumblebee? Hold still so I can get a picture of you. Bumblebees have been out already. There he is. And these are such pretty flowers. Yep, he's getting his drinks. Alright, as long as I'm going down the path, I'm going to cut over to the other side. And I don't know whether this made it or not. This is an upright fuchsia that was 3 years old. And it always comes alive really, really late. So I hesitate to do anything with it. But if it didn't make it, I'll have to plant another one. And on this side of the pathway, I have some very pretty primroses. Got some nice purple ones. And these I could actually thin out also, because they've gotten very clumpy. And this will be a salmon colored peony. And there's some more primroses. I could actually thin one of those out. It saves on going and buying new ones. And this is my burning bush, one of my burning bushes. I've got some more peonies coming up over here. And those need the trellis to hold them up. This is a combination of two. I've got the white one, I believe, on the left, and there's a pink one on the right. Or it could be vice versa. I don't remember. A volunteer holly in amongst the ivy. My daylilies. Some beautiful tall lilacs. And over here on the left, there's a basket of gold. And that is just starting to bud up. These will be bright yellow flowers. And they always look dead in the early winter, or in the early spring, late winter, because it's just above ground stuff. And next to that, I have planted a brand new twiggy honeysuckle. And it's supposed to have tiny little white flowers, and it's supposed to get to be about 2 to 3 feet. And behind that, I have a purple clematis coming up. And this is loaded with blossoms. Every year I think it's dead because it's just nothing but ick down below. And I just had a bug fly in my ear. And some purple rock crests. And more phlox. Another volunteer holly next to the lilac. some tulips I put in last week. And they're doing good. They're still holding their own and they're starting to bloom. The wallflower that matches the one on the other side, just to give a little color here. And in the back, I've got a quince that's growing behind them. And over there on the fence, got irises, and then that little thing is kiwi. And I put 2 of those in between the next lilac. Rose bush is coming out. This is what I call my dinner plate rose. On my roses, I don't really have much in the way of names, simply because I buy those when they're on the clearance sale and dying with no tags. And Lowe's just wants to get rid of them, or Walmart just wants to get rid of them. And so I just call it my dinner plate rose because that's about the size the rose blossoms get. And as most of you know, I did put in my barrel, my new barrel. This one happens to be a resin barrel that underneath is my water that goes to the backyard. And that's doing well. And it's really not dripping. I'm standing here in the rain. You can see the drip off of the girl's head too. Or hopefully you can. But anyway, it is raining out. But I promised myself I would get some video of the latest things that I planted. And here's another twiggy honeysuckle. And I've got a tequila rose up here. Another azalea. Some plants I planted yesterday. I don't know what the common name is of them. They're in the wallflower family, but they're not quite a wallflower. And once again, a little closer look at my viburnum. Those are one of the first flowering plants, along with my hellebore up there. And my hydrangea is getting really big this year. This will have, this is kind of a multicolored one. I think I've got it planted between acid and, the different pH soils. I think it sits right in the middle because one side will be more pink and the other side will be more purple. And my spirea will be all blossoming in white very soon. I put this in just a couple of years ago. And I put it in when it was in just I think it was a quart container. And it has grown into a monster. So I do trim this back. It is taller than I am. And I'm 5 feet, so it's got to be about 5.5 feet tall. And over here is where I was working yesterday, and I got rained out, so I didn't put my shovel away. Brand new shovel I bought, or Shonda bought for me. This is a tree I planted yesterday. It is a serviceberry or sarvisberry, and I planted one in the backyard. I have one in the front that I planted in the little park, and it is doing famously. And this is my my nondescript tree. I don't know what it is. I think it might be a what is it? Plummet, whatever they are. And so I think it's going to cross-pollinate with my plums. I might have to get a Q-tip out because I don't have very many bees at the moment. But I do have plum trees out front, and we'll see what happens. But this was actually grown from a seed that I did. I liked the fruit so well, I said, well, you know, I'm going to put it in the backyard and see what happens. So that's what I did. And it grew. So now I have to get past my wheelbarrow. Backyard is still in construction here. More roses that are starting to come up and leaf out. And back here I planted some very tall anemones that'll be pink. I have my spurge back here in a pink. It's a variegated spurge, and its blossoms are starting. And over here in the corner, I don't know if I can get in here close enough for you to see. These little things that are coming up in the ground, those are Solomon seal, and this whole area will be loaded with Solomon seal, which is really pretty and has a white bell flower on it, almost like a lily of the valley. And this little guy over here is a creeping or climbing hydrangea. This is the first year it's really done much of anything. I've got to get in there and chop out the blackberry. And I think it liked the shelter that I throw my sticks and debris over the side of the fence. And I think it liked being sheltered on that side this year. So it has really come along. So we'll see if it ever flowers. It's in a shady area, so basically I grew it for fence cover. All right. Got my turtle over here. They're a Princess Spirea, and they will have kind of cascading pink flowers, clusters of flowers. And those are doing very well this year too. Sometimes it takes a couple of years for the plants to really acclimate to the new soil and do what they're supposed to. I've got to get in there with my scissors and trim my hydrangea. This is my red currant. And look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? And it does put out currants. And in previous years, I've let the birds have them. This year, I'm not going to let them have them all. They're going to have to share with me. Make some red currant jelly. Maybe even red currant hot pepper jelly. And I've got forsythias in the back. And I trimmed the heck out of them last year because they were just cascading over everything. Got some more hostas. And, well, I'm sorry, that's Shasta daisies. Behind them, that little green patch, that's lemon balm. And I also have a lot of lemon balm growing in this section here. I will have to weed out around it so that you can actually see it. Got zucchini planted and some squash. And more anemones. More Japanese Pyrrhus. Once again, I like these early flowers to come out for my bees. That's what it's all about. And usually the bees start to come out about the same time as my red currant blossoms. And over here we have a nice white dogwood tree that's about doubled in growth since I planted it. And look at how beautiful that Japanese Pyrrhus is. Look at those flowers. Gorgeous. And I've got another Japanese Pyrrhus behind it. It's a different variety. It's the one that the new shoots come out red. But I'll see if I can get a close-up on my flowers. And on a warmer, not rainy day like it is today, these would be loaded with bees. But it is cold. It's probably 45 degrees if we're lucky. Well, hello, little Hummer. Yes, I see you. Why don't you sit on this side so I can take a picture of you? There he is. And I clean and fill my hummingbird feeders once a week at least, and usually more than that because I get hummers here all the time and they usually clean me out. I've got 9 feeders that are running this year. And with as cold as it gets overnight, they really need the nourishment in the morning. But yes, he's just a thirsty little hummer. And I've got my pussy willow tree in the back here. And this I have to keep clipped down because it has a tendency to want to climb over the neighbor's fence and into their trampoline back there. And yes, last year I sawed the trunk down. And you can see where I sawed it down. That was just all over my neighbor's fence. Just great big trunk and interfering with the trampoline. So I will keep this clipped down from now on because it was too hard for me to do it last year. And in here you have my rhubarb. And this goes crazy every year. So I have lovely rhubarb and strawberry pies. And I also do a strawberry rhubarb hot pepper jam. And the vine that's growing on the back fence here, these are male and female kiwis. They haven't produced. I was told when I put them in that it would take about 5 to 6 years for them to produce. And this year is the 5th year. So I'm going to have to get up there, pull the stragglers over to my side of the fence instead of theirs and see if we get any production out of them. And there's a blueberry bush. And more lilacs. And a bird fountain. And this is the panache tree. No, pistache tree. I'm sorry, not panache. And it is coming along great. Look at that. And I've got more blueberry trees, or blueberry bushes here. It is wet. And I've got hyacinths and primroses and a little red maple, another azalea, some more roses, my burning bush, some pansies, and over here on this side I have my camellia, which does not like the rain. It always comes out during the rainy season, and then I get this for blossoms after a while. Normally the blossoms are gorgeous, but it doesn't like the rain. It's probably acid rain. And I haven't seen anything out of these hostas yet this year. Oh yes, I see in the back. They're coming up. And these were ones I transplanted, or divided and transplanted last year. And I put some of them out in the little circle out by the mailboxes. So I will probably divide and transplant maybe one more time this year, and then leave them alone for a couple years. And here is the pond. I have to flush out my pond and do all that good stuff, but the rains have not stopped yet, and it is cold, and it's too cold to be playing in the water. And up there, last year I planted an evergreen clematis, and it has grown to the top of the trellis, and it is blooming. Pretty little white blossoms. And then on the other side, I planted some jasmine, and I'm hoping the two will intermingle. Next to it, we have a red maple. And up here, oh, looks like I got some water on my lens. All right, I'm going to end now and pick it up later. But these are my rambling roses.